My name is Aashish Bhinde, and I used to manage the digital and tech practice at Avendus until recently. I connected with Deepak when I decided to move on from my current role, which led to a succession and transition challenge that required to be carefully managed. Ours was a somewhat unique situation because my transition was not typical. I was not leaving to join another firm and had therefore agreed to a reasonably long transition period. We opted for a dual leadership structure where we decided to groom two senior members of my team to take over and manage the practice. These situations are always tricky since there are different personalities and perspectives involved. It was critical for us to ensure the two of them worked in unison to not only sustain the practice but also take it to new heights. Deepak came in and did a thorough job of starting with a fairly unstructured problem and converting that into a clearly articulated and, more importantly, actionable transition plan. He did this in a few discrete and deliberate steps. He first deep dived and understood the nuances of the investment banking business. He then did a detailed internal and external assessment of the two individuals by speaking to clients and other members of our team who had worked closely with either or both of these gentlemen. He also rounded that off through a few psychometric tests to validate the findings. While speaking to folks externally, he also tried to assess how our practice was perceived and what gaps people felt my departure would leave. Finally, he interacted closely with Gaurav, who leads our overall investment banking practice, and me to understand the cultural aspects of the team and define the goalposts we were setting for the future. I think Deepak approached the task on hand in an extremely thoughtful and thorough manner. While coming up the learning curve on our business fairly quickly, he did a great job of crystallizing diverse points of view around fairly unstructured issues to get to the crux. One of Deepak's key strengths is his ability to assimilate inputs from all angles and slot them into specific key issues by operating from a first principles basis. He also possesses the ability to understand and align business and people related issues pretty seamlessly. He dives below the surface to capture people's motivations and aspirations to ensure the solution proposed factors those in and therefore increases its probability of success. Lastly, he has a very authentic style of engagement, which helps him gain the trust and respect of the key stakeholders very quickly. This helps him get feedback without layers of posturing and qualification that feedback is often accompanied by. I would definitely like to work with Deepak again at some point. I think he's a great partner for anyone who's faced with a critical transition challenge that requires a thorough assessment of the interplay between business, people, and ecosystem related issues involved.